What is up, everybody? Matt Modi here with Daily Grind Fantasy, here to talk to you about Thursday Night Football, and specifically in this video, I have two DFS slips for you guys to lock in, one on PrizePicks, one on Underdog. Both of these slips were found using the Daily Grind Fantasy correlation tool. Amazing tool that I will get into in a little bit. Just to give you a hint on what our first slip is going to look like, it's the PrizePicks one. Just a little hint, a little sneak preview. We're going with both quarterbacks and their over passing yards. So you can go ahead, open up PrizePicks, get those two bad boys prepped. But first, I do want to talk to you about the correlation tool. It's an amazing tool. If you use the DFS sportsbooks like a PrizePicks, like an Underdog Fantasy, it's almost a must-have if you're trying to make actual money. And by actual money, I just mean if you're trying to actually make money. If you're trying to be a profitable player on these DFS books, you have to use the the DGF DFS correlation tool. The way it works is it gives you player props that have a positive correlation with each other, meaning if one player prop is likely to hit, that means the other player prop is likely to hit. They have a positive correlation between the player props. So I gave you the hint. The first two legs of our PrizePicks entry for Thursday Night Football is going to be both quarterbacks over their passing yardage prop. Guess what? If Josh Allen goes over his passing yardage prop, what does that also mean? His receivers are more likely to go over their passing yardage prop. Sure, not every single receiver, but it is more likely that his receivers go over their yardage if Josh Allen does. And it gives you full slips dedicated to plays that have that positive correlation. And if you're unsure of whether the tool works or not, just look at this graph. So DGF tracked every single slip that showed up on this correlation tool since August 18th, up 239 units since that date. And that includes a little bit of a cold streak. This graph you see here is a typical sports betting graph. It's consistently going up with the little downswings, little downswing. Right now, we're in the middle of a little downswing, but up 239 units in just over 2 months is insane. If you bet $10 on every single slip that shows up on the DGF correlation tool, you would be up just under $2,400 on $10 per slip. That's crazy. ROI of 25.67%. If you're betting on sports and you can get an ROI of 25%, that is incredible. Like the best sports bettors in the world have an ROI between like 3 and 5%. 25% is crazy. And then when you're actually going through the tool, it does all the work for you. You honestly don't need to think a ton. You can just click this drop down and pretty much blindly take every single slip that shows up here. But to talk you through exactly how the tool works and what all this stuff means. So number one, for PrizePicks, 6 and 5 pick flex options are the best bang for your buck. The reason for that is it's the best positive expected value type of entry, meaning you're getting the best value, which I know I'm kind of talking through a lot of different words. The easiest way for me to talk to you about it would be just to show you. So I'm going to the correlation, the DFS optimizer, and this little drop down here. It gives you every single possible option you can play on PrizePicks, and then the odds are in the parentheses here are the implied odds per individual leg. As you can see, by far the lowest is PrizePicks 5 and 6 pick flex at -119. For Underdog, 5 picks non-insured is the best bang for your buck. Underdog, there are a couple options you can go with. 3 pick non-insured is good. 5 pick either option is both good. And that's exactly what this is telling you right here. It's telling you what is the optimal entry that you should put for whatever app you're using. And then over to the right here, the profit margin in this column here where you see the 89, 88, 88 is the correlation score. So the correlation score is calculated giving you the correlation coefficient between each leg, which I know that sounds like a mouthful. All that's telling you is exactly how correlated are all of these individual player props together? How closely correlated are they? You want this number to be high. It's a percent. 89% is pretty good. You'll see stuff in the 90s as well, but all three of these, honestly, are good to go. And then the profit margin takes into account the correlation score and adds up the individual profit margin of each individual leg, because along with every play having a positive correlation with each other, they're also all positive expected value. So the profit margin adds all of that stuff up, giving you these two numbers. Now let's get into our slip, and I can show you exactly what the positive correlation between these plays are. So I mentioned both quarterbacks are going over their passing yardage prop. Baker Mayfield over 230.5, Josh Allen over 260.5. From there, yeah, if both quarterbacks are going over their passing yards, what's likely? That the receivers go over their receiving yardage prop. And that's exactly what we have here. We're having Chris Godwin over 60.5 receiving yards. We're taking Gabe Davis over 37.5 receiving yards. We're taking Mike Evans over 60.5 receiving yards. And we're taking Stephon Diggs over 85.5 receiving yards. Pretty high number for Diggs. He's been incredible. I'm not scared off of that at all. And here is our 6-pick entry on PrizePicks. All of these plays have a positive correlation between each other, correlation score of 89.62%. The fact that PrizePicks is giving you the normal payout on all of these plays put in one entry is incredible. Now, I tried to pull up FanDuel and DraftKings to show you if you built this exact slip in the sportsbooks, your payout is going to be significantly lower. Well, unfortunately, for these books, they don't even have player props available yet. So not only can you lock these in on the DFS apps when the sportsbooks don't even have their player props available yet, but you're not going to get nearly as good of odds if you were to take this on a sportsbook. When you do a same game parlay on FanDuel, on DraftKings, that has a positive correlation together, those books are significantly lowering that payout because they're factoring in the fact that the plays are correlated together in a positive way. Now, if you do a negative correlation, that's a different story, but that's not what we're doing here. Obviously, we want plays to be positive correlation between each other. The DFS books don't do that. Every single 6-pick flex is going to 25x your money on PrizePicks, no matter what, every single possible slip. And with PrizePicks, you can hit 5 out of 6 and still make some of your money back. That's not the case with how these same game parlays work on these sportsbooks. There's no way you can get one of your legs to miss and still get some money back. You can do that on PrizePicks. So this is our PrizePicks entry. Again, Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen over their passing yardage prop. And then we're taking Chris Godwin, Gabe Davis, Mike Evans, and Stephon Diggs over their receiving yardage prop. All of these picks, as I mentioned, they're correlated together in a positive way. Let's move on to underdog. 5-pick non-insurance is what we're doing with this one. You could also do 5 picks with insurance. Both options are good on underdog. Correlation score of 88.52%. Profit margin of 135.04%. Not quite as high of a profit margin as the PrizePicks one, but still very good, over 100%, which is great. And you'll notice a very similar slip. And there's 2 different ways you can think about it, right? If you want to be a little more risk averse, then you probably don't want to take multiple of the same exact play on multiple books, because if it misses once, it misses everywhere. But my logic is, if the play is positive EV, then even if it's good one place, it's good everywhere, and that more often than not, things will work out in your favor if you're taking advantage of positive EV plays. And you will notice the passing yards are a little different. For Baker Mayfield, it's 2 yards lower at 228.5. For Josh Allen, it's a little bit higher at 264.5. Diggs' number is a little bit higher as well. But for this slip, we're still taking the quarterbacks over their passing yards prop. We're still taking Mike Evans and Stephon Diggs over their receiving yardage prop. The big difference here is we're taking James Cook to go under his rushing yards prop. And that makes sense as well. If their quarterbacks and receivers are having a good game, that probably means the running back is not having a good game. So we will take James Cook to go under 55.5 rushing yards. Again, I know the slip is pretty similar to the PrizePicks one, but I just like taking advantage of positive EV plays whenever you can get them. So I will take the same, like for example, if you're getting a positive EV play on a team -6.5, -7, -7.5, all three of those are positive EV. I'll take all three because yeah, if they have a bad game, then you're getting screwed on that one night. But more often than not, the law of large averages, positive EV betting will work out in your favor. It's a similar logic here with these two different slips, taking them on PrizePicks and Underdog. And that rounds out our two slips for Thursday Night Football. We got PrizePicks, we got Underdog, all using the DGF correlation tool, which is amazing. Results speak for themselves, up 239 units since August 18th. If you are riding with me, comment and let me know. Other than that, remember to like, subscribe, again, comment, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.